Rolling. All right, we got a rough one. It's gonna be a fun one. But if you want to play ball, I would hang in there. I'm going somewhere with this, but if you're not able to handle this, I'd highly recommend turning this off right now. I'm gonna be right up front with it. I'm watching a documentary today called "Hot Girls Wanted." Hot Girls Wanted. It's a Netflix documentary about the porn industry. So if that doesn't tickle anybody's fancy, please turn this off right now. I highly advise you to, because this is gonna go some dark places. I got so frustrated with Boogie Nights though. I needed to do something to balance it out. So we're gonna watch the first documentary on this today, and I'm excited because I really do enjoy documentary filmmaking. If I had the option of going back to film school and kind of focusing on a discipline, I would go back for documentary filmmaking. I really do enjoy everything about just not needing to create a story, just like letting something that organically unfolded, just recreating it. And whether you take it in whatever direction you'd like, be it like Errol Morris and Werner Herzog, and like ground it to reality in your own visceral kind of way, or like you could, I mean, I guess Werner Herzog is like more abstract, but just fucking you could take it in these like really cool grounded directions, and then you can kind of go the way of like Another State of Mind's a good one, or like Penelope Spheris with, I guess, the Decline of Western Civilization, which I've mentioned before. American Hardcore is a better one, but I'm not here to nitpick. But all things considered, like you got like these kind of like not abstract, like this is one of those ones where it's very on the nose. It's exactly, you know exactly what you're getting into when you get into it. And I love, like, okay, what I was getting at, fuck, I ate an edible, man. I am already fucking all over the place, but I'm excited about this one. I got a lot to say about this one. I'm excited. So where I was going with that, you got like this, like documentary is like such kind of like a broad thing. Like you can, like PBS makes documentaries, and then like Comedy Central makes documentaries. Like everybody fucking makes documentaries. Pretty much, it's like while they're filming any movie these days, especially movies that I worked on, like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, they're just constantly filming behind the scenes to generate more content, and then they usually compile a bunch of like behind the scenes shit into a small documentary about the making of the movie. It's just a way to generate more interest, a way to keep people watching shit longer. It's interesting. So like when you have stuff like that exists under the blanket of documentary. But like today we're watching one where I would like to say it was one of the earlier Netflix documentaries. This was made, I believe, the same year, if not right after Making a Murderer came out, and Netflix still kind of had a little bit of a grasp on like what the audience wanted, and I don't think they could reasonably justify stretching this one out to a series. But like, yeah, Netflix has really jumped the shark because they have these docu-series where the intent is just basically to keep you watching Netflix as long as fucking possible, because it helps generate user feedback based on your watching habits, how long you watch something, whether or not you fall asleep watching it, whether or not you binge watch something and you're actively engaged in figuring other shit out. Like, they're just like, basically you're paying to be data mined, and yeah, I'm guilty of it. Whatever, I got Netflix, fucking blow me. I'm knowingly aware of it though, so like I feel like I got a little bit of a, whatever. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna sit on other people's shoulders and call myself tall, like they said in that fucking movie I watched a couple of days ago. Fuck, what the fuck am I even talking about at this point? Yeah, all right. So documentaries, broad subject. What I would want to do. Where I was going with this, because I gotta keep this shit moving. Yeah, I like that this is one of those like Netflix documentaries that was like focused. It didn't get stretched out to an abhorrent length, like and then talked about needlessly online to generate buzz for it, so that people would justify watching like 180 something minutes of a fucking documentary that 4chan solved called "Don't Fuck with Cats." Like, they didn't give you any answers about the second guy. The guy had access to local like dentistry, anesthetics. They didn't mention that in "Don't Fuck with Cats." There was a second person. You could have played the video. Fucking whatever. I've seen it. It's fucking bullshit, but yeah, pretty fucking gruesome. Yeah, anyway, Netflix doesn't really care. Their documentary ethics are in the shitter, first of all. and they also have very little qualms about just like trying to keep you focused on the drama as opposed to the substance, which I find very distasteful as a fan of documentary filmmaking. You make a good documentary, you kind of got these very organic ingredients. You don't have to stretch too much. You don't have to over amplify anything. I remember watching a good 20-minute documentary on YouTube about how the guy created the logo for Black Flag, which I've recently, in my own respect, gotten tattooed on myself in the form of chef's knives, or meat cleavers. But yeah, big fan of Black Flag. Never knew anything about the logo other than it was pretty fucking cool. And there's like a 20-minute documentary. Didn't really need to fucking do much. Didn't really need to say anything more than what was said. And, out the door. If it was in Netflix's hands, I'm sure they would be interviewing Andy fucking Warhol and like Pablo Picasso's fucking grandson or whatever. Fucking anteater. I don't even know where I'm fucking going. I'm fucking exhausted as per usual. But yeah, still got momentum. Still liking this shit. Yeah, this yeah, I'm just really fucking tired and out of it. And I took an edible, so it is what it is. Figure that'd be a great mindset to get into watching a horrific documentary about porn. But yeah, off the bat, I got 4 minutes. What I'd like to point out about this documentary is I just said that like a lot of the nature of a good documentary is a lot of things unfold organically. I've been, saying that, 6 fucking minutes straight here. This is one of those ones where they have all the elements of an organic documentary, but what they choose to omit is something very specific and something very crucial to this story being effective, because they do get a really good job of building the empathy angle for there's like, I think it's like a house full of girls. I remember that much. And there's a dude that they live with, and then there's this one girl that ultimately ends up going back to her family, and I want to say like Texas or Arkansas, one of the two. And yeah, like what they conveniently omit is like, this is a job. And I really like what my problem with Boogie Nights is that the intent of Boogie Nights was for you to point and laugh at characters that are in a situation where this is their only recourse. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of stylish, but ultimately it's not like anybody really wakes up and says like, yeah, I want to be in porn. Like, you got to be doing some fucked up shit in life to end up in this situation. Now, because of the access to the internet and I would say lax to non-existent parenting until it's way after the matter and way after the shit is, kind of hit the fan. Yeah, what you have here is like they choose not to interview the family like that the girl ultimately goes back to till like later in the film, and like I just want to point that out up front. So just like let's just keep that in mind. And yeah, like I just want to like also point out that it's like this is one of those stories that it does unfold a certain way, but just pay attention to what they don't tell you, and like keep in mind that nobody in the like because I have qualms with the Me Too movement. I think that a lot of Me Too situations that were posted about online were just really people that were desperate for attention, and they had some mild inconvenience happen to them, and they're going to hop on the bandwagon of that being rape. Now, I'm not pro-rape. Rape is not good. It's detestable. You're a deplorable human being if you feel that you can rape somebody. But unfortunately, it's the reality in which we live in. So, here's the two options that you have. If you were to be preemptive, or in like if one has already occurred, how you can be preemptive to prevent it from further happening and maybe kind of keep your wits about you in a way where you won't go crazy. You can either shitpost about it online and whine and get all the sorts of negative attention that comes with, dragging your past through the mud on social media, which I don't support. I think that's a very bad idea. I understand. I've been told I'm an asshole for whatever fucking reason. I would rather you do the second option, which is take a fucking self-defense class, learn how to shoot a gun, do something pragmatic that's not just whining for likes on social media. This is not one of those situations that nobody here is raped, nobody here is sexually assaulted. They're contractually entering, they're entering a contract with a production company, and this is just them being young and dumb and not having guidance. And I can't express enough, like, off the fucking bat. If you haven't seen this before you watch it, I highly recommend just, like, literally listen and then, like, pay attention to those things. And you'll have a fucking great time pointing and laughing at people. Because this is what it wasn't intended to be, but it's better this way because these are real people that it's not pointing at disenfranchised people. It's people that were abusing they thought they were using what they had without realizing that, oh, I can be exploited too. I thought I was being exploitative, but no, now you're really being exploited. It's called hubris, and I cannot express how much I enjoy hubris being satisfied as it does in Hot Girls Wanted. So without further ado, we're watching Hot Girls Wanted on Netflix. Fuck, that is a fucking great movie for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, I don't know how much of this I'm gonna have to edit out. There's a really good chance I'm gonna have to edit a huge portion of this shit out because like I might just come off like such an asshole. I got a few things wrong. All right. So it's been a while since I've seen this movie. It's been probably 4 or 5 years since I've seen this movie. So I got a couple of things wrong. They did interview the mom or whatever, but the reason that I said that they like to pay attention to that is there is like literally a part where her, and I thought it was like her mom and her dad were just talking about her like she's not in the room, but like it's her boyfriend and her mom are literally talking about her like she is not in the room. And like, yeah, I mean, she's doing the porn. Yeah, well, like the porn, I don't like the porn. Why would you want to be with someone who does the porn? Like, they're just arguing across her in the most fucking entertaining way. And it's like, it's just one of those scenes where it's all of this rising, building tension leading to that point where you're literally just, what did you think was gonna happen? Like, I want to call this film, like, instead of Hot Girls Wanted, they should just call it short-sightedness. Because it really is just a film where not only on the like literal level, like the intention of the film was to show how the porn industry kind of preys on these girls who are young and impressionable and willing to do dumb, risky shit to make a lot of money really quick. Which I broke down what she said. She made $25,000. The main chick, Texas bitch, made $25,000 in 4 months. I broke that down. That's roughly $1,500 a week. I make like $9 on a good week, if that. It's no $1,500 a week, and all you got to do is take a shot in the mouth. I mean, it's not fun. And like stay in relative shape. Look, like I'm not saying that it's the easiest of work, but like when push comes to shove, doing what I do is not exactly like the blueprint for longevity in this life. I'm not saying that is either, but like if you can make 25 grand in fucking 4 months, yeah, dude. Yeah, you could take that shit and fucking run with it, man. You can make some investments with it. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know how it actually breaks down. I'm sure there's, like, some shady shit that's, like, you know, going on behind it. There's probably drug abuse and all sorts of other shit that they just completely, like, gloss over. But, yeah, I guess I got right into it. Yeah, like, this film is just irresponsibility met with logical consequences, met with further irresponsibility and remorse, met with just just punctuated with like, okay, I regret what I did. I mean, I did it, but I regret what I did, or regret what I'm doing, or like it. But this is like in the context of the film, but then again, like the film itself is kind of exploiting these girls for another reason, like to make the film more interesting. It's like, look how downtrodden and look how like disenfranchised these women are. Well, yeah, they're young, and like some girls at the age of 18 enter into a contract with a bank so they can get a student loan to go to college. And you know what? They're going to spend a lot of their life working really hard and getting fucked over by the system to try and pay that scholarship or that fucking student loan back. And yeah, it's just kind of the way it is. Other girls at age 18 decide to move to Florida and start doing pornography. That's really what this is. It's like, you're going to get fucked in life no matter what. But like, there's an exploitative nature of pornography, and then there's like the exploitative nature of this film, which I've always found very meta and hilarious, because like, what's the point of you guys like making this film if you have no plans on like intervening? You're really just exploiting girls that are already exploiting for your own personal gain. And frankly, I don't even think Rashida Jones gave a shit about this movie. I think she just wanted her song to get played like 15 times. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so like that's like pretty much what seems to be the point of the movie is like how can we further exploit disenfranchised youth. Fucking yeah. So like as opposed to like most of the movies I have to review, I talk about the character arcs and like the story and everything. And as I was saying at the beginning of this, like the beauty of documentaries is everything kind of unfolds organically, or it's like at least the sign of a good documentary is it unfolds organically. This is a very good documentary. This is a great documentary for all the wrong reasons. And yeah, like there's no like story arc other than like the logical next step of like exactly where you expect this to start going. Like there you couldn't have written it better. The fact that this film needed to be edited, it wasn't just like a 4-month long live cam that might have been like whittled down to like the more interesting parts. It could have been that. It's just it's so self-explanatory and on the nose that like you can't, it's not doing any justice trying to contextualize it other than yeah, watch these people make really bad decisions and then somehow like they're supposed to be portrayed as the victim, but instead like there's even one part that I really do enjoy where the one chick was like they're kind of catching on that they're being taken advantage of about like 3/4 of the way through the movie. And like the one chick's like, yeah, I went to this guy's house in LA and he said for $300 I was going to do this. So I went over to his house and it's just him and a camera. And then he said for $300 I'm going to have to, he's going to force me to give him a blowjob. And I didn't agree to that. It felt like rape. Let me stop you right there. As much as that sucks, which it does, I'm not going to sit here and advocate for that not being like a terrible fucking situation to be in. And boy, do I wish you the best of that. Like I hope you really learned your lesson. Like maybe like got some kind of, representation in the industry where you're not just booking flights to LA to go suck some stranger's dick in a broom closet with like a fucking Sony DCVX, like from 1998. Like make better choices and maybe I would feel better for you, but this is like you've put yourself in that situation. You willingly took a flight across state lines to go give a guy a blowjob for $300, which is probably less than the cost of the flight to and from. I'm assuming this fella paid for it. So like, yeah, you just had to show up and give a guy a blowjob on camera. You weren't satisfied with the conditions of it because you did no due diligence on it, but it's because you're young and you're being taken advantage of, which is like, I'm not saying that that's right, but what I am saying is you've contractually entered into this, like you've agreed to do so. Like what they do with the film is like completely up to them, but like there's like all you can feel is remorse at this point. It was a contract. Believe me when I tell you, I've signed contracts for many bogus dumb agreements, and boy do I wish I could get out of most of them. And like I understand the remorse that you feel from that, but that is not rape. You're not getting raped. You can't play that card. If it was rape, it would be a completely different situation, but it is not rape. I feel bad for you. I feel bad that you have to compare the experience of what you did to rape because I understand where you're coming from, but it's not rape. And I don't feel any pity for you because ultimately, I don't know. Like there's a plethora of situations we could all end up in life. And it's like, if you're still having to suck some dude's dick on camera for money, not like to prevent your teeth from getting knocked out, like, or not for like some weird hostage negotiate. Like you're literally doing this as a profession. It's not the worst thing in the world. And I'm sorry that it sucks, but like we all have shitty days at work. Suck it up, sweetheart. I love that the logic though is that they're the victims because like they are ultimately the victims. But if they were really the victims, you wouldn't be further exploiting them. And like I don't know if I can drive this point home enough because like that's what it seems like they're going for. Like, oh, this poor girl from Texas, like like the reason that I thought it was like so strange that they didn't interview her parents, but I guess like they did earlier than I expected. But like it was just that like them arguing over each other was really what I was trying to get at. It was like they want you to have this like sense of like that they're helpless, but no, they have like a completely supportive. I mean, albeit probably oblivious, like a little dumb. They are from Texas, like albeit oblivious fucking family that is loving and supporting, and they just want the best for their daughter. There's that's the coolest fucking thing that you could hope for. One could hope for, like having just parents that want you. And like the mom's not supportive of it, but she's like not cool, but like kind of cool with it, like cool enough about it. There we go. Yeah, fucking that's a good burp. But no, like I don't know why it was like I was hung up on that, but like it just I don't know, like if this girl was doing this for like crack money, or like this girl has been like habitually abused sexually by her family. Like no, it's just some girl that grew up in a small town and thought she was the hottest girl in her small town, and then when she probably fucked like the guy that she thought was like the most like equipped, she's like, I can go for better. And then goes on Craigslist and gets duped into doing something stupid for 4 months, where she makes a shitload of money, but everybody on the internet can see her vagina. And then like the regret she feels after realizing that when she goes to like that party or whatever, or it's just a bunch of white people listening to rap music on an iHome in a dorm room somewhere, and they're like, oh yeah, how do we like find your shit? And we should like compare it. Like, yeah, that's a shitty day. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, and her boyfriend's fucking staring at her like, yo, do something, which fucking is really embarrassing. Like, I'm really embarrassed that my, like, once in a while, like, someone will mention, like, oh yeah, I saw this movie. It's like, yeah, I worked on that. Like, oh, really? Like, yeah, it's a piece of shit. Anyway, like, yeah, like, it's really embarrassing. But, like, you did this. You had every opportunity to either pursue a legitimate like modeling or acting career, or like do something that wasn't like pornography. Like, yeah, like we get it. You were fed up. You thought you could achieve bigger and greater. Fuck, mushmouth over here. Yeah, bigger and better thing. Great, like achieve more. Like achieve higher goals. Sure, I guess. Yeah, whatever the fuck that means. Like, she should strive for higher. There we go. That sounds better. Scrocka. All right, there we go. Yeah. But no, instead, it's like, what does she ultimately end up doing? She goes to Florida for 4 months, makes a shitload of money that she spends frivolously, because it's not like they're exactly setting these chicks up with Roth IRAs or 401ks or like dental even. Like, they're just like, oh, let's just live in a party atmosphere and make porn, and then like realize that like there's not much longevity in this. And you know what? I would also like to point out the dude. I forget, is it Riley? I guess is his name or something. The gentleman, the dude that essentially is like a pimp. He's the representation for these women. He's the most rational person in this entire fucking thing, because he understands, like, he's like, I was an actor, I still am an actor, I just hire these chicks, and then I get that, like, he basically just middlemans a cat house, where, like, instead of him having to deal with, like, shady folk being in and out of the house, he just literally leases women to porn shoots, and, like, that's your job, is you just collect 10%. He's a pimp. And, like, a good pimp at that. And he's the most rational person. He explains every fucking step of the way. They're like, yeah, there's no fucking shelf life for anybody in here. If they're dumb, we can get a year out of them. And if they're kind of smart, we can get, like, 6 to 4 months out of them or whatever. Like, it's just, like, he understands the business aspect of it. And he's, like, he's not smart, but he's smart enough. He's got like the street smarts, I guess, to make this endeavor like a thing. And then sure enough, by the end of the film, he's got 8 new chicks living with him, plus I think the 2 that were originally in there, the blonde one that pretends to be a weird little girl, because I kind of think she's seasoned. Like, she seems to understand the hustle of it, and like, it's like, if you understand the entrepreneurial aspect of this, you're able to go far. You gotta be business minded about it and understand. It's like, I get burned daily for a living. Like, I have scars up and down my arms. I have shoes that dissolve because of fucking harsh chemicals and heat and like cleaning fryers. I have like permanent damage to my nerves. I'm balding because of the stress. Like, we all go through shit at work. Like, occasionally your job intersects with taking a dick in the ass. And unfortunately, like, I'm blessed, knock on wood, that I am not cooking in a prison, so I don't have that option. Like I don't encounter that very often in my line of work. Presently, these girls do a lot more, but it's the nature of your job. Like, you're gonna, like, if you really, really want it, like, if you really want to go far in porn, by all means, like, you gotta try, like, but they're trying to make these, like, girls out to be, like, these shell-shocked victims after, like, that have gone through, like, trauma. Yeah, you have gone through something traumatic, but nobody twisted your arm to do this. You did this to your, like, and I cannot express enough that, yeah, they are being taken advantage of, but, like, I think the point of the documentary is, A, that, like, these are girls that are, like, being taken advantage of, but, like, you're also taking advantage of them being taken advantage of, which I find to be hypocritical and, like, not the like, not the intended purpose of the documentary, but ultimately what it culminates in is, like, yeah, we can, like, watch this girl's life go into a fucking tailspin because it's interesting, and then at the end we can just follow another one. If it's not successful, there'll be like 6 more. Like, you understand how, like, predatory that is on its own? You understand how, like, it must have been so predatory just setting this up, where, like, these must be girls that are already in the industry, and then they needed someone like Rashida Jones to kind of, like, legitimize it because they saw the angle, but they were just entrepreneurial enough to, like, dodge having to fuck more. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is just one of those, like, it's a faux pas. It's something that is so marvelously, like, contrived, and it's, like, set out for all of these altruisms that it ultimately self-defeats. And it's like, it's a marvel of cinema in a way, in, like, an unintended way. Like, it's beautiful and it's sleazy. It is like the sleaziest fucking Cinderella story, or, like, or, like, I struggle to explain why I like this movie. A, it's just, like, a bunch of hot chicks, like, doing, like, real slutty, dumb shit. It's like, if you ever hung out with off-duty strippers, they're the best. They're just full of themselves. They're the utter epitome of narcissism, but they're fun. Like, if they express interest in you and you express zero interest in them, it's like you kind of end up in these kooky situations. And, like, I got to admit, I'm a sucker for it. But at the same time, I haven't been part of that lifestyle in quite a while. And, like, seeing this is kind of like, oh, I guess I have grown a little bit. Like, maybe I'm not the young lunatic I always thought I was. But at the same time, it's like, man, that shit is fun. And it's great watching these girls just, like, slowly, like realize, like, holy shit. Like, if you watch this movie and feel bad for these girls, other than that, yeah, that sucks. Like, anything further than that, you're a fucking idiot, and you're the reason why this movie, like, you probably have been solicited by some, or you're like one of these people where everything all of a sudden is raped you. This is why I'm gonna have to end up bleeping this whole fucking thing out. But yeah, like, what I'm getting at is, I like this movie because of how unintentionally funny it is. Just like other documentaries that I like. I'm gonna watch. There's one that I'm watching with my pop soon. It's called Red Penguin. I'm really excited to watch that shit. But this was, like, a pleasant surprise because I was so frustrated with Boogie Nights, where, like, Paul Thomas Anderson just rubs me the wrong way, and, like, the whole point of that movie was to point and laugh at disenfranchised people that are, like, really there because they're disenfranchised people. These, on the other hand, are people that they're disenfranchised, but it's because of their own doing. Like, they make no effort to better themselves, and it's just amusing. Like, they're not characters. They're not, like, these are real people that, like, thought they were going to somehow retire doing porn. And you got to admire and also be just completely amused by that fact. I'm all for people, like, if you have dreams, if you have aspirations, chase those dreams. I'm not kidding when I say I've done it so many fucking times that I've given up on my dreams. I'm back in New Jersey cooking. My dreams never panned out. I mean, I still hold my breath for some, but like my dreams are not anywhere in the ballpark of reality right now. I admire the fact that these girls did this, but like I don't feel any pity for them. And it's hilarious that like that is what they set out to do. If you can't see the difference between these two things, maybe you're listening to this podcast for the wrong reasons. But I fucking love this movie. Watch Hot Girls Want It. I'm sure I'm gonna watch the sequel at some point. And look out for Red Penguins coming up soon because I'm looking forward to doing that. Thanks for listening.